Hi everyone, my name is Marina Marasevic, and today I will be talking about FPL and its dividend policy. I will be going over a little bit about why companies pay dividends, as well as the issues FPL was facing and what the best decision might be for investors. So, what is FPL? FPL was Florida's biggest electric company in 1993. It served about 3.4 million customers across a large area of the state. That same year, FPL made about $514 million in profit and paid a dividend of $2.48 per share. This basically meant that it gave back about 90% of its profits to shareholders. So, as you can see in this pie chart, only around 10% was kept in the company. And utilities like FPL they're usually stable, which is why they pay higher dividends, but paying out that much does leave very little room to save or reinvest. Why pay dividends? So companies pay dividends to basically reward investors and just show that are like their company's strength. And the good part about this is that dividends build a lot of trust and it gives investors a very steady income. However, on the downside, it does leave very little money for the company to grow, as well as pay off debt or prepare for just future problems if it ever comes to that. So it's really a trade off between giving money to investors now and saving it for the future. Challenges in 1994. So in 1994, FPL did run into a few big problems. First, there was the deregulation, which meant that other companies could start selling power through FPL's grid. So there was more competition. And then the interest rates did go up above 7%, which made bonds very attractive and way more attractive than utility stocks. Finally, there was a Wall Street downgrade, which caused FPL stock to drop about 6% in just one day. All of this did make people question if paying out such a high dividend was still a smart decision. Because FPL did have a very high payout ratio, which was 90%, it meant that almost all of its profits did go to dividends, which is great for investors who like a steady income, but it does leave very little cash for growth or emergencies. If the profits were to ever drop, FPL might not be able to keep paying the same dividend. So while it does look good for investors right now, in the long run, it is very risky. Different investors want different things. So, income focused investors like retirees or nonprofits, they prefer more steady cash, like steady cash payments. However, the growth focused investors like corporations or younger investors, they want a company to reinvest profits so that the stock prices can go up. So, FPL does favor their policy mostly helps people who want a more steadier income and not as much of fast growth. So FPL does favor just a little bit the income focused investors as opposed to the growth focused investors. So the best move for investors right now would probably be to hold the stock. FPL is a very strong and still is strong and profitable company, and the dividend does is very reliable and it gives reliable income. But with new corporations and with new competitions and higher interest rates, it's not the best time to buy more or increase the payout. And in this little scale here, picture on the left, the girl holding the money is an income. She's representing income stability versus the right, which is growth flexibility. FPL is more on closer to the income stability side since it is very steady and dependable, but not very flexible. So by holding the stocks, it does let investors get the income now, but they're still able to wait and see what happens next. So, some key takeaways to wrap everything up: FPL's long history of paying dividends builds a lot of trust, and it does bring a lot of loyalty with the investors. But paying out 90% of profits leaves very little room to grow or just handle problems in the future. The company is very solid right now, but it is facing a lot of new challenges. And the best move right now is to hold the stock and just see how it performs. Thank you so much for listening.